Hi everyone, welcome back into Primetime Live. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my wonderful husband, partner, friend, life coach, everything I can think of and then some.
Boy, I don't know how I can handle all that. That's a lot to live up to.
Well, it's a new year,
You're
right?
kicking off New Year with a bang, aren't you?
Wait, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. It seems like we were just doing this 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So we're back
Time
again.
goes by fast.
We have a lot to share with everyone, and we want to thank you for joining us, and hopefully you had a great 2017, maybe a few little challenges here and there like we have, like everybody in the Armageddon area, but things are moving forward. It's a brand new year, and I remember this time last year we were talking about hope, and when we have hope, it's a good thing because you have something to look forward to. And so my husband and I have been collaborating over months and months and months and wanting to do some things just for you. Thankfully, we're here at WeBeam TV to where we have a platform in which to accomplish our dreams. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. One thing that I am holding in my hand is like my manual. My secrets, my husband's secrets to youth, and longevity, and really surviving in a crazy, crazy world that is volatile times. So if you want to just sit back and get nice and comfortable, we're going to be talking about who the author is for the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth and what that could mean to you for 2018. It's a lot of different talking points, so we're only going to be able to touch a little bit on it. And I'm actually going to turn the reason for the author writing this book over to Dennis Kelly, who is the author of 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. And I was actually used as sort of like a test case, guinea pig, if you want to call it, whatever. And I have been following these 6 steps religiously for the last, how many years have we been together? 20?
20 would be a good number.
20 years. And guess what? They work. They all work. And I want to ask you, one of the reasons, because we just did a book summary for Dan Latrimurti, who is our website guy, and is going to be putting some really great things on dennis-kelly.com, and you can always go there and check it out, check out our mission statement and everything. But back in 1996, you wrote this book. I was interviewed with it because I had started on your program and everything, but you were in the process of writing this before I met you. So can you kind of give us a little overview, similar to the summary that we did recently on the book, and all the studying that you did, and you became an eclectic. And nobody tells it like you, so I'm going to let you share that.
Well, one of the big reasons I wrote the book was to sort of put pressure on me to live the lifestyle that I claim in the book. Because I knew that if I put all these things together, it would put more responsibility on the fact that I wouldn't just let my life be wasted. The other reason I wrote the book is because so many people came to me wanting to know what my secret was, how I was able to do what I was able to do at the age that most people don't do it at. And so I figured this is my way of putting something back in the world, because the good Lord's been good to me. And I figured that the best thing I could possibly do is write a book and be able to give it to people for a reasonable price so that they could gain some of the knowledge that they can do a lot of the things and maybe even more than I have achieved.
And you know, that's really a good talking point for us to move forward in this hour to share some of the things, because you explained to me when we were putting together the book summary together is that a person, an everyday person, would have to have studied thousands and thousands of books and also read hundreds and hundreds of different material to actually glean and absorb the personal growth and development that my husband went through. And what you will also share is things weren't always perfect. You had your ups and downs, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of ups and more downs than ups. Mm-hmm. And I come from a very dysfunctional family, and I had a very bad opinion of myself. I didn't like myself. My life was a mess. And then when I had the opportunity to do something that I really didn't know I'd enjoy, was to dance. And I eventually became a dance instructor after taking several lessons. They saw the enthusiasm in me. I didn't have a lot of talent, but I had a lot of enthusiasm. And as a result, the dancing became a big part of my life. And how it really helped is the owner of the dance studio, her name was Janine Choquette, went by the name Gigi. She was a Canadian world champion and fantastic dancer. She saw something in me because I came in as a student. She saw something in me that seemed like nobody else seen. And she invested in. She had me read a book a week. I went to every motivation seminar that I could go to. Dale Carnegie, Norman Vincent Peale, many of the greats. Anytime anyone would be in town that had advice to give that would help me, I would be sent. And she paid for it all because she saw that I could really benefit her by bringing these things out of me. So the greatest gift I got out of that was not being successful monetarily or successful in business, but being successful in my own life, reaching a state of imperturbability where nothing really rattled my cage, where I was controlling my emotions. And that was a never-ending study, but she got me started on the right path so that when I become an adult and a senior adult, I could utilize a lot of these things that I would have never been able to gain had it not been for her.
That is so true. Now, how old were you at that time? You were working for construction at the time, right?
Yeah, I was 19 and 20 years of age, worked in construction. I dropped out of high school to provide for a family, and so I couldn't stand the construction business. It was a type of business I wasn't interested in being involved, but I had to make a living. So when I went in to take my first dance lesson was simply because the girl I was going with, she ran off with a dance instructor that happened to work at the same studio that I was taking lessons, but he wasn't there any longer. She fired him a long time before I joined there. So to get my girlfriend back, I went and tried to get my mother to teach me to dance. She couldn't. She said, "You'll never dance." She was a ballroom, her and my stepfather were a ballroom champions. They won several dance contests. Well, they weren't champions, but they won several dance contests. So it was in the family, but I was like the black sheep of the family. I really didn't learn easy. I was messed up. And when she took hold, she was the first one that really seen something in me. And she said, "You can be a world champion. You have it in you." And I sort of felt she was giving me a bunch of crock, but I wanted to believe it.
And so you did.
I did eventually believe it.
And so you programmed your mind that you could become a champion. Now let's fast forward just for a split second here. So you went from a construction worker to become not only a dance instructor, but eventually you ended up owning 7 state franchise dance schools, correct?
That's correct.
Created an empire for yourself.
Right.
And from there, you went on to, because I remember the facts because I was typing up the summary, a 34,000 square foot Disco Palace nightclub.
It was the largest nightclub in the state of Maryland.
That is amazing. 3 floors, right?
3 floors.
And what happened after you opened it up?
That's the laughing part. I can laugh now, but I cried then. Disco went out 6 months later.
See? So life hasn't always been a bowl of cherries.
I can say that I had the biggest disco in the state of Maryland, and that was an accomplishment. But of course, losing the disco, having invested everything I could borrow and beg for, I'm kidding about that, but everything I had enough money to retire a couple lifetimes.
Isn't that amazing?
And lost it all in one big dream.
Isn't that truly amazing? And to think of the money that was invested in that. We have about a minute before our break here, and then when we come back, we're going to learn more about Dennis Kelly and his accomplishments, the highs and the lows, the made it, lost it, made it, lost it. So you see, it can happen to anybody, and it doesn't matter where you come from, where you think you're going or not, but there's always some answers, and it all comes from right in here. And that's what we want to share with you here today. So we're going to pick up on the other side of the break after the Disco Nightclub, and we're going to talk about some things in the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth that was written almost, 1996, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1996. You can still get the book. We have the last, 500 books left.
That's it. It'll be a
Yep.
collector's item.
Oh, yeah, and especially if you can get it signed. They're all going to be signed, the next ones, because he's getting ready to write Champion, the Champion Within. So we will share those too, all the things that you've learned since then. But we're going to go ahead and take that break, and when we come back, we're going to have more for you right here on Primetime Live. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV. John, my producer, is in my ear just doing stuff to get me to giggle and make me lose my train of thought. However, I will not lose my train of thought here today because we're talking about things that we love to talk about and that we love to share. And we're so much in gratitude to have this platform right here in Port Richey, Florida at We Being TV to share some things that the whole world needs to know, right?
Absolutely.
So wherever you are today, if you're just tuning in, maybe you're just coming home late from work or whatever, Happy New Year to you. We're going to share some tips from the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. And that's my husband's book that he wrote over 20 years ago. And we're still living the dream with the 6 steps that we will guarantee if you commit to changing your life, you can begin immediately. So we're going to go back a little bit on, just before we took the break, we were talking about where my husband was a number of years ago when he became a 7-time state franchise dance owner. Did didn't come out right, did it?
That's good
Yeah,
enough.
you know what I'm trying to say.
You know what a franchise is. You know what a state is.
There it is. There
And
it
you know
is.
what an owner is.
Dance school
There you
owner.
go.
And then went from there to owning a 34,000 square foot disco nightclub called the Disco Palace. It was in business for 6 months, and then disco went out of style.
Yeah, and actually we built two at the same time. I had one in Columbia, Maryland also, 5,000 square feet.
Oh my goodness. 2 of them?
Yeah,
And disco goes out.
yeah.
So I would say maybe you lost a little bit of money.
Oh,
there.
quite a little bit. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Probably ruin your whole day.
Well, so let's just fast forward and talk about all the personal growth and development that Gigi, your dance instructor, who believed in you, invested in you with not only the time of teaching you how to dance and getting you to get out of your own way, but also to be able to take as many personal growth and development seminars and workshops and reading books and studying and all that helped you in your career. But I've known you for 20 years, and I know that it's also helped you in your personal life.
Right. Well, the thing that really makes me feel good about the book is what I did is doing all these different seminars, reading different books, you find out what's really doable and what isn't doable as far as your circumstances.
Like what?
Well, for example, somebody might say, well, you need to sit there and meditate on your goals an hour to 2 hours a day if you want to make those goals. That's not true.
No?
All you need is 5 minutes a day to just visualize and build up the passion of your goal.
5 minutes?
5 minutes
Really?
is all you need.
Okay.
Because when you start overdoing it, then eventually the passion dies away. Because the really way that you can make a goal is picture it like already happened. So if you're picturing that for an hour or so a day, it already happened. Eventually, the happening isn't just like the real thing, isn't as exciting.
You know, if you've watched our shows in the past, you've probably heard this story, and there's so much truth to it because it's basically the law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. In fact, we're actually going to be doing a vision board class right here at the studio tomorrow morning in my business networking group. And the last time I did my vision board, I had a picture of a TV right in the center with my head shot in it. And guess what? Here we are with our TV show. In the upper right-hand corner, I had tango dancers in the upper right-hand corner, and I ended up dancing with the local stars and doing some really fun dancing things. So I can relate to what you're saying that you did way back then in taking that time to focus. Why is it? What is it that when we focus, what happens to the body and the mind and the spirit?
I have 3 words. The 3 most important words in my life, and could be the 3 most important words of any life, is thoughts are things. Mm-hmm. Thoughts are things. The law of attraction. Whatever you think, you will attract. Now, if you go into the law of deliberate creation, you need to know what the law of attraction is so you can understand the law of deliberate creation. The law of deliberate creation is knowing that whatever you focus on, you're going to be able to achieve and have. You then really have much more power in already seeing like the goal has already happened. But the big key factor is writing the goal down, writing that goal. They did a research several years ago at Yale University. They took the graduating class to university 20 years after the class graduated, and only 3% of the entire class had written goals. The 3% that had written goals made 96% higher wages than the ones that did not write the goals on paper.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So it works.
Only the 3% had 90-some% higher, and that was the 3% had accomplished more wealth than the 97% put together. That's what I was trying to say.
So what is the difference? Can you explain what is it about pen in hand, you're thinking about your goals, and you go to write it down as opposed to just, is it because you're
doing a
it's
physical
like you're signing
thing,
it.
and you're also able to imagine the goal already happening. If you don't think the goal is from the standpoint already happening, like go to the goal and imagine how it would feel to make that goal, you're not going to make the goal. You'd be luck. It wouldn't be circumstance. So anyway, that's why it's so important to be able to focus, to be able to take that 5 minutes or 6, 7 minutes at the most and focus, seeing that goal already happening, feeling excited, because nothing happens unless there's passion. How do you build passion? Think of all the wonderful benefits you're going to gain from making the goal. And it doesn't take a rocket science to be able to do that. Some of the world's smartest people are working for some of the world's dumbest people.
You know, there is a lot to be said for that too. And you said that key word, passion. There's a lot of people that are not living their passion.
Absolutely.
They're working for a job that maybe is not fulfilling to some degree. A lot of people are making major life changes even late in life. Maybe they're done making all the money that they want. They want to start giving back. I know we have a really big give back community here. Our give back is to sharing our hearts with people and to let people know what is our drive? What drives us? It's our families. It's those of you that have your ups and downs just like anybody else, but it's our perception of life's stresses and problems and how we deal with them, is it not? I mean, that is carved in concrete in this book.
Well, it's when life's perception don't meet up to your goals and you fail to get the results that you want. Perception is so important. It is a key factor, how you perceive things.
Exactly. Because sometimes a person can say one thing to you and it can be perceived 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways, right?
Right.
So when it comes to perception, that's one of the key things that I learned, these wonderful P words. Passion, number 1, follow your passion. If you don't know that you're following your passion, we can teach you how to do that. And there's several exercises to do that. But not only that, the perception that can be a game changer depending on how you perceive something, how someone's voice inflection, how you take that, or if you're having like a low vibrancy in your heart coherence on a particular day. Maybe your day started off, not so good. The kids are spilling their cereal over the floor. They forgot their lunch money, and you forgot to pick up your work clothes from the cleaner. I mean, whatever it is, it can get you in kind of a funk. What happens when we do that, when we have a lower vibration? Won't that affect our perception with
absolutely.
how we respond, whether we respond or we react to people, right?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The key thing is when you form a vision of a goal that you want to make, and I think this is a great time to discuss this. This is the beginning of a new year. People are setting their goals. People are making their New Year's resolutions and things like that. So hopefully people out there will be able to take and absorb some of the things we're covering now that could change their life. Just for example, if you can actually, through studying some of these principles that I was able to discover, or renewal from discovery, so to speak. I didn't discover them, but somebody else did, and I, like you mentioned, have become an eclectic. It's learning how to be able to use ancient secrets of the mind to be able to build an empire with a single thought. That's possible. Just focus on that thought.
Well, you
every
did
day.
that.
I did it. I built several empires.
You did.
But the challenge is, I actually sometimes think I sabotaged my empire because I was bored. I had accomplished all these things: world champion of martial arts, biggest disco, financially independent at a fairly young age. And it came too fast and too easy, because when I had all this knowledge from all those books I read, then it was impossible to fail.
It was impossible to fail.
And when I lost the nightclub and everything, I didn't go and want to blow my brains out. I said, oh, well, what did I learn from this? What could be good about this? Well, I will never open another nightclub. My father was in the nightclub business. You'd think I would have got smart, and it killed him. He died at 53 of a massive coronary, worrying about this, worrying about that. Nightclub business is a very tough business.
Sure
and you
is.
age quickly. You don't really have the right sleeping hours and things like that. So actually, it probably was good that my inner self probably said, this is not going to work well for you if you continue this.
So it was you're right, your inner
Yeah, I
self.
sabotaged my empire.
Wow.
And then I started and built up another one, and in a way I sabotaged that one.
Because you wanted to move forward with
It was
something else?
fun and exciting to build the empires. But that's so stupid. But it took me, finally, I grew up and realized what I was doing, playing a game with myself.
Oh my goodness. So what happened when you grew up?
What have found you?
Oh, you got married.
Oh, I don't think you would have married me back
So
then.
John says you got married. Probably not.
What?
That's what you told me. You told me that because you were going through all that personal growth and development and everything. But we did
You
find...
wouldn't have liked me 30 years, 40 years ago, you probably wouldn't have liked me.
Yeah?
So I was in training for you.
How about that? And guess what? All that we have learned from each other, from all the training that you went through, plus the learning experiences that come from all of this, we will be sharing with you. This is our year to take all of this, and we'll be talking about it in just a little bit, where you'll be able to learn all these secrets. This is a great way to get started. Picking up the book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, but my husband is also going to be available for coaching from a distance, right from your very own living room. So that we're going to be talking about. It will be soon out on the internet, the opportunity for you to learn these secrets that are guaranteed, aren't they, my friend?
I've been an empire with a single thought.
Exactly, exactly. And there's a lot to it. It's pretty basic stuff, but once you start doing it, you'll see, and because it's a 6-step program, you just get started. And it's amazing how once I started doing this, because I was at the Home Shopping Network at the time when we met, and you were working with Tony Little as one of his fitness models at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it, and he didn't know it. But yeah, so you put all that into play, and it's really good. We're going to take a quick little time out. When we come back, we still have another half hour, and we'll share more with you, okay? So stay right where you are. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is my husband, Dennis Kelly, 6-time world champion at age 78, overcoming Parkinson's. Do you think he might have a few answers? Well, we've been talking about the 6 steps to the Fountain of Youth and how you too can learn these special tips that really don't ever expire. This book will never expire because you've kept the basics in here. And we were talking about how you were able to build several different empires just through the power of thought and a number of different techniques that you've used. Now we're coming down to the last stretch here in this half hour. If you were to give, well, like in this third segment, give some of your top key, what do I want to call them, points or the steps. Because there's 6 steps in here. Can you guess what they are? Can you? I know what they are, but I want you to share your top, where to get started. It's a new year. Where do we get started with the 6 steps to the Fountain of Youth?
Well, first of all, the key thing is knowing that inside of all of us is a champion. Before we were born, we're the fastest swimmer.
I love this story.
And so you were a champion when that egg meets the sperm. You were the champion. You were the fastest swimmer. So when you come out of your mother's womb, you're coming out with this ability that is unlimited. But the school teachers, the parents, and friends tend to screw it up.
At times.
At times. At most of the time. Because there's so much talent out there that's not even being developed.
That's true.
And you just have to find the right mentor to make sure that the mentor is on solid ground as far as his philosophies and things like that. And then follow a plan, because it's so important to be able to have a written plan of what you're going to gain.
There it goes again. Write it down.
Right. Well, the same experiment was done in Harvard. They came out with the same results. So it wasn't just Yale University. Harvard did it also. And I know with myself, the key is once I gain the confidence, let me rephrase that. If somebody came to me and said, will you teach me to become a success? I can honestly say that if they followed just the things in that book, not the other book that I'm writing and things, just the things in that book, it would be impossible to fail. It would actually be impossible to fail.
Absolutely. I've done everything in this book ever since I met you.
And if you lose everything, that's not failure.
No.
Because the thing is, when you leave this earth, you'd be leaving on an upward swing. And learn from my mistakes. When you have a goal and you make the goal, before you finish that goal, set another one. The problem what happened with myself, I set several goals and I didn't have any goals past that. Because I accomplished what I thought everything I wanted.
And it wasn't everything you wanted.
No, it wasn't everything I wanted. I hadn't discovered inside myself some of the things that I needed to discover. Like the fact is that I needed to control my anger.
Oh.
And you asked me what I should say or give the audience out there a little suggestion. The biggest thing about really being successful is controlling your emotions. One of the most successful businessmen I have ever been partners with and ever knew, I asked him one day, I said, Lee, what is your secret? Because everything you touch turns to gold. What is your big secret? He said, well, when he was a young man, he was a professional boxer for a period of time. And he lost several matches. His coach told him, said that if you can learn, you need to control your anger. That's why you're losing the bouts. So one of the hints then out of that experience of getting wisdom from one of the most successful businessmen I ever knew was the fact that you learn to control your emotions. Anna Weiss wrote a really wonderful book called The High Performance Mind. Her rendition of that was the high performance mind is one that can at will reach that state of consciousness and desire of any given circumstance, meaning no matter what circumstance happens, you can control your emotions to fit that circumstance. Sometimes it needs to be an emotion of slight anger, not rage, but anger. Sometimes it could be a caring, loving emotion that you need to use. Sometimes it could be a indifference form of emotional attitude. So it's learning to control those different attitudes and emotions that makes you what I call imperturbability as an ultra intelligent person, because you're not just intelligent. In fact, intelligence is the biggest intelligence that I call is the intelligence of being able to, your IQ is not your biggest means of success, it's your emotional IQ.
Your EQ.
Your EQ. That's the key.
Yes.
And you have a high emotional EQ, and most people have average or below. Very few people have control of their emotions. Work on that with single factor, learning to call upon the right hormone by calling the right emotion. Each emotion has different hormones connected.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, basically what you're saying is if somebody's screaming at you, they're in your face, or somebody's bullying you, how do you almost stop dead in your tracks and choose the emotion that is most beneficial for that given moment?
Glad you asked me that.
Yeah.
I surround them with a bubble of love coming from the heart. The key, the secret to all this, without any equivocation, is the heart. Inside the heart is another brain. That brain connects with the neocortex, the intelligent part of the brain in the heart. Then there's a brain in the gut. They found out there's more intelligent neurons in the gut than in the spinal column. In other words, the spinal system. So that's part of the key to the success that I've achieved in fighting in the ring, being a lousy athlete in high school. So I didn't have what we call natural talent.
That's right. That's right. You had quite a childhood with your coach making fun of
It's the
you.
worst athlete he's ever seen. I heard him telling the other kids in the locker room he hated to play me. But I come from a small school, 98 kids in the whole high school, and there was 6-man football because we didn't have enough to do 11-man football, and we played these little communities that had 6-man football, and they had to play me. And every time they put me in to play, I screwed up. So I had this paradigm that I was a lousy athlete, I was a no good. Then my stepfather told me I was a bum, and then especially when I got in the dance business, he says, "Why don't you get a job?"
A real job, right?
And he made good money owning a Texaco station in Willie's dealership back when I first met my mom. But I ended up making more money than he made.
See that? But you followed your heart.
Yeah, I followed my heart.
And still follow your heart.
That was the biggest change that came over in me when I lost and failed to continue my empire in the discos, and several other financial things that I did that I could have done better at. I didn't know about the heart. And I was doing a lot of these things by accident because I had
By
a lot
default.
of passion.
Yes.
I was doing it by accident. I was doing the right
yeah.
things, but not as focused and not as effective as I could have been.
Not deliberately.
If I would have followed the heart, I wouldn't have put all that money in the big disco.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done my homework.
You think it was a head decision?
I think it was an emotional decision. I was bored.
Yeah.
And I figured subconsciously I wanted to sabotage my empire. Plus, I had nothing to do with disco going out. But I should have done my due diligence if I would have checked around, found out there was something going on in Chicago where all the disc jockeys were burning all the disco records. That was happened previously. So if I would have looked at that and said, oh, there's some danger here. Got these DJs, they're tired of disco. And a lot of people were sort of getting, not tired of it, but it was a routine.
Wow.
So they destroyed disco.
I didn't know about that
It started in Chicago.
How about that? So bringing us fast forward to where we are today, all these life experiences has made you who you are today, and you decided to write this book because of all the studying that you did, all the books that you read, and everything is right here. And I swear by this book. And everybody says it's like a manual. We have so many testimonials that has really transformed people's lives. And basically, the bottom line that I relate to personally in my own life is learning how to master every single one of these components. It's like living the Marshall way. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that your success has come from you becoming not only a grandmaster in the Tai Chi Qigong world, but as a 6-time world martial artist. And I've been there, and I've watched his focus and his concentration just before he gets in the ring, and never hurting anybody, but he goes in and it's all point, full men's contact karate, point karate, but the focus and concentration is stellar. I mean, it's of epic description that is almost indescribable. What I've noticed, what happens, it's like you just transform into this machine.
And I'm using the same power of transformation to keep improving my condition with Parkinson's.
Yes.
It's not sending me back.
No.
I'm not giving in to it. And I may never cure it completely, but I'm not going to get any worse. And I can function properly. And it was my attitude, the ability, like when I first was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, first reaction, I had enough showing that I had it at that time. And I thought to myself, God, why me? I've done everything right as far as health, eating the right foods, and I fudge a little bit here and there, but that's not a reason to put this on me. And I thought to myself, why not me? I'm a warrior. I'm a gladiator. Mm-hmm. And martial means war in English. We're declaring war on cancer, heart disease, declaring war on anger, declaring war on anything that isn't positive, anything that isn't productive from a wonderful standpoint of being the good part of us rather than the bad part. We are processed at birth to be more negative than positive as a protection mechanism. So what we have to do is rewire the nervous system, because like I mentioned, we are actually more inclined to be negative because of the fact for survival purposes. It started back in the caveman days when the caveman would see a tiger. If he had to stop and analyze what that tiger was, it would be too late. So the key is the certain part of the brain called the amygdala would store all those emotions and everything and try to protect you. But what it does, it sabotages us a lot because it protects us from our own self when we need to get out from under that. So we have to rewire our body, our mind, to be able to be more positive than negative. And that is more than possible. It's been done.
And so we have just 1 minute before our last segment. What I'm hearing is the driving force of the anger. And I can understand why you would have been a little bit angry when everybody's putting you down and you're a grown man.
I was angry at that point.
Yes. And so I can understand how that
changed my life.
I can understand how that happens. So when we come back, we're going to be talking more about a couple of things that you can share, and so you could absolutely tap in to whatever it is that you need, that you were born with. You just need a little guidance, like we did, and that anger way back then brought you to where you are today. Hold your thought. I know you're getting ready to talk. We'll be right back after this. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Welcome back in, everyone, to Primetime TV, where we share all kinds of different wonderful information with you. And I am Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is Dennis Kelly, sharing the 6 steps to the Fountain of Youth. You can actually pick this up on dennis-kelly.com. But what we're very excited about is the new year 2018 and giving everybody in the entire world an opportunity to understand that we are all born as champions. And sometimes life gets in its way and some of us get over the hump and some of us don't. But my husband is now getting ready to mentor people like yourself, friends, family, and what's great about it's going to be all from distant learning and coaching. So let's talk about this for just a minute. If we have viewers that are thinking, I really like what I'm hearing today, let's walk through just an overview on what you feel that you can help somebody based on all the people that you've already mentored and coached. We have a certification program for instructors and master trainers that's been successful. We have a thick loose leaf, an old-fashioned loose leaf folder with one testimonial after testimonial from businesses, corporations, to single moms, single dads, families. You've done it all, including pregnant moms with the Baby's Breath program. So last segment, what do we want our viewers to know about how you can help them?
Well, everybody is a little bit different.
Sure.
And I think that what I bring to the table is being able to hone in on that difference, being able to find out what their core values are, what their main inward desires are that they may be ashamed to admit, and things like that. In other words, to learn to stamp out the bad habits and bring in the good habits. And even to the food they eat. Mm-hmm. You know, my whole way of thinking has been working for me and many others that I mentored, is 75% of what you eat should be water soluble, fruits and vegetables. And 80% of what you eat should be healthy. The other 25% you can goof off. People deprive themselves of a lot of things that taste good and feel good, but the reason that they do is because they don't have the willpower to not go overboard.
Right.
So if you keep it to 25%, 80%, 25%, 75% in those areas of the good foods as opposed to the bad foods.
And so what about, and that's really good when it comes to health, and you'll find that in the book you're going to learn about supplementation, how to relax, what to do for stress, how to improve your focus and concentration so that you can actually focus on your personal growth and development. And what's great about your program is the fact that you don't tell someone what to do. You sit and talk with them and just find out what is it that you want to achieve in your life. And do you want to set an example for your family, for your children? And that's really what my driving force is.
Well, best gift you can give your loved one is be a good example. You hit it on the head there. It's so important to be able to find out, what really is important to them, and be able to then accentuate to build up even more desire, and keep away from bringing out the bad things. Because there are so many good things that we can really hone in on.
Absolutely. And in the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, oh, you know what? I just saw the name Lois. That was my mom's book.
That was your mother's book.
I just realized that was my mom's book. See, even my mom paid attention. My mom used to always say, she says, well, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. And there's a lot of truth to that, seriously. But I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek on some of the weeks here. Yeah, he talks about the dragons of aging and what happens and what we can do about that. He also has a story, The Way of the Warrior. Today we all have to be warriors. Maybe not necessarily martial artists, but declaring war on disease and stress, like you said earlier, because that is the number one thing that causes not only dis-ease, but in many cases premature death. So that is a big thing that you focus on. The ABCs on your supplements and getting physical. I never forget, the first thing you said was get physical when I joined the gym, and boy, did I ever feel a whole lot better once I started that. Eat and enjoy your food. He touches on nutrition and diet. He is a certified nutritionist as well. And
Sports nutritionist.
Sports nutritionist, yes. So he knows about the nutrition we're supposed to have. What I love is the Unlimited Bliss, and that is week number 6, and that is your state management. Trineurogenics is your system, the mind, the body, and the spirit, and it all gels, it all comes together step by step, one step at a time. And this program is going to be offered, as I said earlier, on the internet through your website, dennis-kelly.com. And as soon as we have that program together, we'll be happy to offer that to our viewers and on Facebook and anyone that would like to do some distant learning. You don't have to come here. We come to you via the internet, and we have a special announcement to make because we're going Dennis Kelly live TV next Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. I remember watching Jack LaLanne when I was like 19 or 20. So it's going to be a similar format where you're going to get in front of the viewers and let them join you with some Tai Chi and Qi Kung, because this is our way of giving back so that you can learn how to focus and you can learn how to relax right here in less than 5 minutes.
Well, somebody's got to carry the torch.
I know you said that when we were working with Jack LaLanne on Home Shopping Network.
Yeah, he was very impressive. I met him in the green room. And I said, Jack, are you still towing boats with a rope? And he didn't hesitate. He said, I towed my wife through the bathtub this morning. He was 92 at that time.
Yep. Yeah.
And when he shook hands, you could tell this man was not like a normal man of 92.
I know.
And he was cut, small waist, big chest. I mean, the man was fantastic. I mean, I don't even try to emulate him. It'd be impossible. But by taking some of the secrets that he even used, because I've studied some of his philosophy, and he had one good one that I didn't follow. Anything that tastes good, you need to spit out.
I know. Isn't that the truth? Well,
he was serious about that.
Exactly. It was an honor to work with Jack and Elaine,
absolutely.
Doing the juicers and everything. But as we wind down here, every year we try to add something to our program. There's a lot of different new things and research that has come about that we will be also validating in the program, and we're just excited to be able to have the studio here as our platform to get the message out to you. It will be affordable, and as soon as we have that rolled up, we're going to go ahead and pass that on to everybody, and you'll be able to join in on the show every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It will be a half-hour show, and it's going to be all about you, baby. Really teaching some things that people can do like right on the spot. The whole program won't be in it. We only have a minute remaining, so I'll wrap this up. But just imagine if you were able to get even one person in our viewing audience to be able to center, relax, and have a beautiful, blissful day for the remaining day just from doing a few of your exercises. And you'll definitely want to tune in and tell all your friends, everybody, because you'll also be able to watch that on, ta-da, this, because Dennis-Kelly.com has his own app. So that's going to be very exciting as well. You'll be able to watch the archive shows. We're grateful to John Gaston and Tampa Bay Multimedia right here at the studio, We Being TV, to where you'll be able to tune in every single week, and all you will have to do is just follow the leader, right?
May I take one moment here?
30 seconds. No,
Just
a
everyone,
few seconds.
Everyone, if it was impossible for you to fail, if it was totally impossible for you to fail, you knew that, what would you do?
I think you know that answer. And on that note, give me a fist bump. We'll see you next time.